Okay, we're here in Visalia just before the start of Stage 5 of the Tour of California, talking with Phil White, co-founder of Cervelo Bicycles and the new Cervelo test team. Phil, can you talk a little bit about it? So obviously it's been a good start to the season for you and a good Tour of California for you guys so far.
Yeah, it's been great. Thor's win a couple of days ago, and it's the first time that the teams really worked together in a race format. So it's easy to practice for sprints, but it's a whole different ball game when it comes to the race. So they were pretty excited to see it work out on the first day so effectively. Yesterday, I guess we went a little early, but I think it still showed that it's a pretty strong team in the sprint, so I'm looking forward to that.
Good, and another sprint day today?
Another one, so we'll see how it goes today. But yeah, we've got a strong team on the sprint, so we should be right up there, if not fighting for the win today.
Now, last night, UCI President Pat McQuaid was at the press conference. You were there, and specifically asking him questions about the new, or maybe not new, but about to be implemented technical rules. Can you talk a little bit about what your concerns are and whether Mr. McQuaid addressed them yesterday?
Well, my question to Mr. McQuaid was, the UCI has issued some clarifications to the rules, specifically on time trial equipment that more relates to the shape of the handlebars, meaning aero bars, seat posts, and cranks. So those are the key areas. And the question to him was, okay, are these clarifications going to be implemented immediately for the time trial on Friday, or at some later point? And the good news was that they're not going to be implemented on Friday because there's just not time to get equipment together. From a manufacturer standpoint, I guess what we're looking for is some stability and work with the UCI in developing the rules to make sure that we develop equipment that is actually sellable and usable by the teams. The rules are quite ambiguous in that area, and so most of the time trial aero bars out there don't conform to the clarified rules. So it needs some time, I think, for manufacturers to be able to work through their current stock and redesign those products. So that's a fairly big effort and cost for them, especially in a rather trying economic time. So that's the concern, I think, from various manufacturers and team standpoint, is how fast they can develop something and get it out to the teams.
Now, is Cervelo one of those teams that's going to be impacted?
We're impacted on the seat posts.
Okay.
So yes, it affects us as well. It affects, I think, the greatest effect is going to be had on the aero bar makers. VisionTech's been making the same aero bar for basically 15 years, and they're now being told that they've got to redo that. So there's a fairly significant investment in years of tooling and design there. The other ones that be affected would be Oval and Triple T. I think will be quite heavily affected as well. Both young companies that have made a big investment in making better products.
Now, for you said the seat post is affected. How big a problem or how big an expense is this going to be for you, and how quickly are you going to be able to make these adjustments?
Well, it's going to take some changes to the frame molds in all likelihood, as well as a new seat post design and molds. So there's definitely an impact. It's going to take quite a few months to be able to redesign and work through.
Okay. Now, they still haven't told you exactly when they're going to start implementing, so you don't know whether you have to rush this through in time for, say, Tour de France or Giro, or...
Well, that's what I'm kind of hoping Pat McQuaid is here today, and I'm kind of hoping to be able to sit down with them and say, okay, get a little bit more clarity on what their objectives and their time frame are. I think, the manufacturers obviously have the best intentions and the best, we want to see the sport develop. I mean, we're the chief beneficiaries of the development of the sport. So we obviously share that same goal with UCI. A little bit more coordination amongst the two groups like that would probably ensure the sport goes even faster. So I think we all the same objectives. You have to find a way to actually implement that.
Okay. Last question. Earlier in the week, before the start of the race, the press conference, you were talking about the new P4, which is coming up. Can you talk a little bit more about? I guess it's not out yet, but you're pretty close. Can you talk a little bit more about this new bike you've got coming?
Yeah, it's the biggest advance we've made in one generation of aero bike ever. So it's a big improvement over the P3. It really reset the bar. We were ecstatic in the wind tunnel to see that it was not only the fastest bike, but the fastest bike by far, including beating the Lotus by a significant margin. So those of you who may remember back, I don't know, was that 15 years ago now, when Chris Boardman, the Lotus, came out and there were basically no rules at that point. So to be able to beat the Lotus with the current UCI rules was a big feather in the engineer's cap. So they were pleased with that.
So when do you expect to see this out racing?
Late March should be rolling out to dealers. So I think we're looking at roughly another month till it's in dealers.
Okay, so we'll start to see riders racing on it April?
I think it'll probably be raced as soon as it gets out there. We've seen before when we've launched a new product that the next weekend after someone picks it up at the dealer, it's out on the racetrack. Okay. So yeah, out in the course. So I think we'll probably see it out pretty quickly.
How about the pro teams? When are we going to see them using it?
Well, the pro teams is a matter of when's the best timing to implement it. So, unfortunately, the pro teams are scattered all over. So it's a matter of getting them the bikes, getting them fit, and getting them on the bikes. So it might take a few more. I mean, obviously, for sure for the Tour de France, perhaps even for the Giro, it would be nice to be able to do that.
Good. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.